He chewed his upper lip between his teeth. The longer he sat, counting the seconds in his head, the more he felt his fears grow. Would she come? Then she appeared, seemingly out of nowhere, looking ethereal under the pale glow of a streetlight. He gasped at how beautiful she was. His pulse raced, and more sweat gathered in a clammy film under his arms and on the back of his neck. His mouth was so dry he couldn't swallow. As she glided closer, his eyes drank her in. She had full red lips and black hair falling in wet strands below her shoulders. The cold brought a ruby flush to her cheeks, startling against the creamy alabaster of her skin. A single hoop earring dangled in a glint of gold from her left earlobe, and a gold bracelet hung loosely on her right wrist. She was tall and took long, hurried strides. She wore a white turtleneck over her slim torso, its damp fabric clinging to her body. Her black jeans fit snugly. He imagined what it was like to be so powerful and confident. He could almost feel himself inside her skin, keenly aware of her body, the taste of rain on her lips, the singing and biting of the wind in her ears, and the wanton, supple sensation between her legs. Her eyes found him. He knew she couldn't see him inside the car, but he could feel her stare anyway. And he knew those eyes, intense and green, like sea foam in which he wanted to drown. She was coming straight toward him. He knew what to do. Stay in the car, wait, let her come to him. But the aching in his heart was too much. His eyes flicked up and down the street, checking to see if they were safe. Then he opened the car door and called to her, his voice barely louder than a whisper. "Rachel." Now, miles away, she was running, trying to escape. He reached out, grabbing for her shirt. He snagged a fistful of her turtleneck, but she slapped his hand away. Slipping, he lunged again for her wrist, but his gloved fingers yanked on her bracelet instead. She wriggled free. The bracelet tumbled away, and she galloped into the tall weeds. He followed, barely 2 steps behind her. But Rachel was like a gazelle, fleet and graceful. He felt clumsy, slowed by his big shoes and the sticky grasp of mud and brush. She widened the gap. He called her name, pleading with her to stop, and she must have heard him. Or maybe she stumbled in the rutted ground. When he clawed out blindly with his hands, he felt the soft flesh of her shoulder. He squeezed hard and spun her around. Their bodies collided. He held her tight as she wriggled in his grasp, her chest heaving. He smelled her sweet breath. She didn't say a word. He hooked his right foot around her ankle, trapping her, and pressed their hips together. He tugged her shirt. The fabric bunched in his hand, and he brought up his other fist, the one with the knife. With just the point of the blade, he sliced the shirt like butter, hearing the cloth tear and fray. He cut the shirt again, and again, turning it into rags. He let his fingers touch her skin, feeling the swell of her breasts, which rose up and down, like a roller coaster. He put the point to her chest, right where the heart must be, somewhere deep inside. If she truly had a heart. She struggled, playing along. A dying game. He knew she wanted him to do it. This was never about him, he reminded himself. This was all about Rachel. He pushed. A gasp finally escaped her lips. Something wet ran on the blade. That was all it took, and they were free. Part 1. Chapter 1. Jonathan Stride felt like a ghost, bathed in the white spotlights that illuminated the bridge. Below him, muddy brown swells flooded into the canal, spewing waves over the concrete piers and swallowing the spray in 8-foot troughs. The water tumbled over itself, squeezing from the violent lake to the placid inner harbor. At the end of the piers, where ships navigated the canal as delicately as thread through a needle, twin lighthouses flashed revolving beams of green and red. The bridge felt like a living thing. As cars sped onto the platform, a whine filled the air like the buzz of hornets. The honeycomb sidewalk vibrated, quivering under his feet. Stride glanced upward, as he imagined Rachel would have done, at the crisscross scissors of steel towering above his head. The barely perceptible sway unsettled him and made him dizzy. He was doing what he always did, putting himself inside the mind of the victim, seeing the world through her eyes. Rachel had been here on Friday night, alone on the bridge. After that, no one knew. Stride turned his attention to the two teenagers who stood with him, impatiently stamping their feet against the cold. "Where was she when you first saw her?" he asked. The boy, Kevin Lowry, extracted a beefy hand from his pocket. His third finger sported an oversized onyx high school ring. He tapped the 3 inches of wet steel railing. "Right here, Lieutenant. She was balanced on top of the railing, arms stretched out, sort of like Christ." He closed his eyes, tilted his chin toward heaven, and extended his arms with his palms upward. "Like this." Stride frowned. It had been a bleak October, with angry swoops of wind and sleet raining like bullets from the night sky. He couldn't imagine anyone climbing on top of the railing that night without falling. Kevin seemed to read his mind. "She was really graceful, like a dancer." Stride peered over the railing. The narrow canal was deep enough to grant passage to giant freighters weighted down with bellies of iron ore. It could suck a body down in its wicked undertow and not let go. "What the hell was she doing up there?" Stride asked. The other teenager, Sally Lindner, spoke for the first time. Her voice was crabbed. "It was a stunt, like everything else she did. She wanted attention." Kevin opened his mouth to complain, but closed it again. Stride got the feeling this was an old argument between them. He noticed that Sally had her arm slung through Kevin's, and she tugged the boy a little closer when she talked. "So what did you do?" Stride asked. "I ran up here on the bridge," Kevin said. "I helped her down." Stride watched Sally's mouth puckered unhappily as Kevin described the rescue. "Tell me about Rachel," Stride said to Kevin. "We grew up together, next-door neighbors. Then her mom married Mr. Stoner and they moved uptown." "What does she look like?" "Well, pretty," Kevin said nervously, shooting a quick glance at Sally. Sally rolled her eyes. "She was beautiful, okay? Long black hair, slim, tall, the whole package, and a bigger slut you're not likely to find." "Sally," Kevin protested. "It's true, and you know it. After Friday, you know it." Sally turned her face away from Kevin, although she didn't let go of his arm. Stride watched the girl's jaw set in an angry line, her lips pinched together. Sally had a rounded face, with a messy pile of chestnut curls tumbling to her shoulders and blowing across her flushed cheeks. In her tight blue jeans and red parka, she was a pretty young girl, but no one would describe her as beautiful. Not a stunner. Not like Rachel. "What happened on Friday?" Stride asked. He knew what Deputy Chief Kinnick had told him on the phone 2 hours ago. Rachel hadn't been home since Friday. She was missing. Gone. Just like Kerry. "Well, she sort of came on to me," Kevin said grudgingly. "Right in front of me," Sally snapped. "Fucking bitch." Kevin's eyebrows furled together like a yellow caterpillar. "Stop it. Don't talk about her like that." Stride held up one hand.